Hi, in today's video we are going to cover two different type of clustering algorithm. First one is hierarchical clustering, in which we will see agglomerative and divisive hierarchical clustering. Although these two methods are only having different approaches, but we will have the same method to make it. And second one we will see is the DB scan, which is nothing but density based clustering. Let us start with hierarchical clustering. A hierarchical clustering is characterized by its development of a hierarchy or a tree-like structure. Here our goal is to produce hierarchical series or nested clusters which are ranging from clusters to an individual point. From the bottom, all inclusive points in a single cluster. As you can see in this particular diagram, there are some data points which are marked with some name like A, B, C, D, E, F, E, H, G, I, J and K. Now these data sets are again clustered with some area or a circle. As you can see, these orange two circles or B and C data points are grouped into one cluster. If I will increase the size of my cluster slightly, then A, B and C would come under one cluster. Likewise, E and F are belonging to one cluster, but if the range of cluster or the size of cluster needs to be increased slightly, then D, E, F might belong to same cluster. And same is the case with H, I, G, H, K, L and G. Okay, now over the right hand side towards this diagram, whatever the hierarchy or a tree-like structure that you see is something called as dendrogram. Now this dendrogram is nothing but representation of a cluster. Over this dendrogram, I can find out that J and K are belonging to a same cluster. I and H are belonging to same cluster, and if I want to increase the size of cluster slightly, then J, K, I, H may belong to same cluster which is being given by this branch of a tree. Okay, likewise B and C is belonging to same cluster, but if the size of the cluster is going to increase slightly, then A, B and C might go to same cluster which is being given by this particular branch of a tree. A dendrogram is a diagram which represents a tree-like structure which gives us a hierarchical structured clustering and illustrates an arrangement of a cluster which can be produced by corresponding analysis method. There are two different approaches to this hierarchical clustering. First one is agglomerative and second one is device. Both are representing or making the same dendrogram or same kind of cluster, but the approach for both is different. Agglomerative clustering starts with each object in a separate cluster. This is a kind of bottom-up approach. Say we have total 5 data points A, B, C and D and E. In step 1, we will find out the two nearest data points. Let us say A and B are the nearest one. So they will be clustered into first step. So we are actually talking about agglomerative or Agne's algorithm. In second step, we will go with another two nearest data points. So let us see D and E are the next nearest data points. So in second step, those two are going to get grouped together under a single cluster. Moving more forward, we see that C, D and E are having the maximum similarity or which are the nearest to each other. So C and D, E are the next cluster which are can be formed. And in the last steps, AB and CDE both are nearest to each other, hence we will form one of the largest cluster. So this is from bottom to top approach. We call it as an agglomerative clustering or hierarchical type of agglomerative. Whereas in contrast to device algorithm will start from bottom to top. It initially consider all clusters or all data points belongs to a single cluster. Then it will find the heterogeneity among that cluster. That means what are the different elements which are different from all other data points in a cluster. So it will find out that C, D, E are actually different from A, B. So C, D, E will be made as one cluster. Again, it is found that C is different from DE. That's why C is separated out from DE cluster. Later on, it is found out that D and E are different from each other. Hence, there is a single cluster of D and E. Likewise, A and B is there, but they are different from each other in some distance. That's why A and B are called as or separated in a different cluster. So device algorithm starts with all objects or all data points which are grouped under a single cluster, and later on it divides or splits the cluster into more than two or into two unless and until each cluster represents an object itself individually. So basically, agglomeration method commonly used in marketing research, which uses something called as linkage method, something called as variance method, and something called as centroid method. Now let us see what do we mean by this linkage method of clustering. So there is something called as single linkage algorithm. Consider there are two different clusters and there are some several points or data elements or objects in these two different clusters. We have to find out the distance between two clusters, which is represented by the minimum data point. So as you can see, I can find out the distance between these 2 points also. I can find out the distance between these two or these two. So the whatever the minimum distance is there, whenever we use this minimum distance as our count of the distance between any two cluster, that kind of algorithm would be called as single linkage algorithm. In contrast, we have something called as complete linkage algorithm, which uses the distance measure as the maximum distance between any two clusters. Now, as I have said, between these 2 points, we can have either the distance between these two, or this two, or this two, or between these two. Okay, so this is the minimum. If I use this particular distance, then my algorithm would be called as single linkage. If we use maximum distance between any 2 points of two different cluster, that would be called as complete linkage algorithm. We have another variation also, which is called as an average linkage algorithm. We calculate all the distance between all possible set of data points of two different cluster, and we will average out all the distances, and those kind of algorithm would call as average linkage algorithm. Of course, average linkage algorithms are quite complex and time consuming, as well as they will have more complexity as compared to single linkage and complete linkage algorithm. Now let us assume or let us apply algorithm using single linkage. Starts with individual elements are actually cluster itself. So over the x-axis there are the data points, over the y-axis there are the distance, or I would say single distance or a minimum distance between any two cluster. So from this diagram, I can see that 4 and 5 are the nearest to each other in terms of their distances. Okay, so what I will do, I will add 4 and 5 with one branch of a tree. And this is the starting of my dendrogram diagram. Okay, over the left hand side is the representation of data points. Over the right hand side, I will keep on making dendrogram of a cluster. Now from diagram I can see that 1 and 2 are again nearer to each other as compared to any other 2 points. Okay. So cluster 1 and cluster 2 are going to get added. Now one thing you should note that the distance between 4 and 5 is lesser than the distance between 1 and 2. So the branch I will make to join 1 and 2 will be having more height as compared to 4 and 5. That we should always keep in mind. So the height of the length of a dendrogram tree branch is respective or responding to or an equivalent to the length of the distance between any two data points in actual. Okay. Now moving more forward, I can have the distance between 2 and 3, distance between 3 and 4, because that is the minimum distance between these two cluster and the distance between 6 and 7. So we can see that 6 and 7 are more nearer as compared to 2, 3 and 3, 4. Okay, so we are going to make a cluster of 6 and 7. So 6 and 7 are having more distance as compared to 1 and 2. So they are getting added. Now we can find out the distance between 8 and 6, 8 and 7, 3 with 2 and 3 with 4. So to me it appears that 3 is more nearer to this particular cluster of 4 and 5 by the minimum distance of 3 and 4. So what I can do is that I can add 3 with 4 and 5. Okay, so you can see that this length is lesser than this 6 and 7 length because the distance between 3 and 4 is more as compared to 6 and 7. Alright, now what we can do, we can find out the distance between 2 and 3 and 6, 7 or 6, 8. Okay, so the minimum distance appears to me is that 6 and 8. So in next step, I will take this branch up and I will add this 6 and 8. Okay, so the distance between 6 and 8 is more than this 3 and 4. That's why I have taken this length at more location. If that particular distance is equivalent to this distance of 3 and 4, then my branch would be at the same location or at this stage only. But for me, it appears that 6 and 8 are having more distance covered as compared to 3 and 4. That's why I have taken this way. Okay, next is that, so we have one cluster of 6, 7 and 8. Now next, I can either join 2 and 3 and make this cluster or I can join 6 and 4 and make this cluster. So obviously 2 and 3 is having more closer to each other. I will make this larger cluster. Alright, so a cluster of 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 is now getting joined. Now this distance is appearing equivalent to the distance of my 6 and 7 as you can see. So they are I'm putting them both at the same height, for example. Now this is the largest cluster and this is another largest cluster. I have to find out the shortest or the minimum distance between the two because this is the single link example. Okay, so the minimum distance that I get is 4 to 6 or I would say 3 to 6. Okay, 3 to 6 appears to me the smallest. Okay, so this will be the distance. Okay, I will join these two branches. Okay, now since I have linked these two clusters, these all points are now belonging to a single cluster. Now, this is what an algorithm does. It starts with individual point as an individual cluster and group together cluster which are more homogeneous to each other or having the lesser distance with each other. And at the end, it will stop when all the points are considered into a single cluster. So here in this case, we have put it all 8 data points into a single cluster. So this is an end of my algorithm. Now, how actual clusters are identified? You can identify different clusters at the basis by cutting a tree at different height. Say for example, if I cut my tree at this height, so these set of data points will be one cluster, that is the thing but a set of these data points, and this will be the another one. That is nothing but another branch of a tree which represents 6, 7 and 8. And say for example, if I cut a tree at this stage, in this case I will have first cluster as 1 and 2, that means this one. Second cluster I will have is 3, 4, 5, that means this cluster. Then we will have one cluster of 6 and 7, that is this cluster, and another cluster of 8 because this tree is cutting this edge, that's why 8 will be again in a separate cluster. So we can put a tree in a cut at different stages and we can verify what kind of cluster best suits data or best separates out our data according to its homogeneity. All algorithms that we have seen till now in our previous lecture plus in this lecture, such as k-means algorithm, k-medoids algorithm, which is nothing but actually a PAM algorithm, then we have seen agglomerate or device algorithm. All these algorithms can well work only with spherical shape clusters. Now, if your cluster shape is non-spherical or an arbitrary shape, in that case, a best suited algorithm is DB-scan. Now, the full form of DB-scan is density-based spatial clustering of application with noise. So, from the title itself, you might say that it is having a quality of separating out noise. That means it is not sensitive to an outlier. Here we can separate out outliers. In our previous algorithms such as agglomerate device or within PAM or within K-means, we were actually involving our outlier or assigning an outlier to a particular cluster in any of the, whatever the case is. But we are not separating out that this outlier doesn't belong to any of the cluster, and this can be only done with DB scan. The name itself is very large, but the working and the actions are very simple. Let us see that. It basically discovers an arbitrary shape data in a spatial database which also have some outliers or noise in it. A cluster here is defined as a maximum set of density connected points. That means those points which are more closer to each other in a form of density are called as one of the cluster. And here the clusters are something called as a dense region in a data space separated by the region of lower density objects. So let us see how DBScan works. So starting with the basics, there are two important terms that you will encounter in DBScan are an epsilon, which is radius of a core, and minimum points, which is nothing but giving us a density of a region. For any point to be in a cluster with a local point, its density around a point has to be measured. So density is measured in sum of the area of nearby, and that nearby area is given by an epsilon. So basically an epsilon for any data point, if this is my data point, and epsilon is nothing but a radius, and whatever the area which is being covered by this epsilon is considered as a density area. So any other points which falls within this category is called as dense region, and any point which is falling outside this category or this epsilon area is called as non-dense region. Okay, now we also have something called as minimum points. That means if there is only one data point within this region, then can we say it is a dense region? No, we require some value of minimum point. Say for example, 4 is the value of minimum point. So in this circle, I can see that there are only 2 points, but if so, they are not called as dense. If there are more than 4 points, or actually 4 points including this core point, I would say this region as a dense region. So this is nothing but the minimum number of points which are given into a neighborhood. And epsilon neighborhood of an object contains minimum points of an object, then this area is called as our high density area. So in this diagram, as you can see, this is my core point, and this epsilon is nothing but some radius or a number within which we have to measure the nearby values. So nearby area is marked with this circle, and all these points are nothing but its neighbor points. Now these neighbor points, if are under this region of an epsilon, and this number of data points reaches to the minimum point, then this area is called as high density area. So as you can see, this 1, 2, 3, 4, the point itself 5, and this 6 is nothing but representing a high density area. Now as compared to another, if I consider this red point as my core point, and if I measure the same epsilon area around it, which is being now marked by red circle, we have how many points? This is the border point 1, 2, 3, the point itself 4, and this is the 5. So in this case, we are not reaching to minimum points. So the area covered by this Y center is not a high density area. It is basically low density area. and low density area doesn't belong to a cluster. So any points which is only a part of low density area is not a part of cluster, but all those points which belongs to high density area is a part of cluster. So basically here we have in our diagram one cluster and Z as in outlier. Let us start with another example. We have 4 points. One of the point is P and another point is marked as Q. Let us start with P. P is our core point around which we draw an area with radius and epsilon. So all the points which are covered by epsilon within it or over the border are called as neighborhood data points. And likewise, if we consider Q as our center of data point or a core point, we can draw an epsilon around it to find out its neighbor. Now over both of these cases, if we have minimum points as 4, our P point is area is having high density. Why? Because for P we have 1 itself, 2, 3 and 4 points, which is nothing but minimum points criteria is being satisfied. So we say the density of point P is high. But as compared to Q, if I draw a neighborhood area, I can have only 1, 2 and 3 points, which is not satisfying our minimum point criteria of 4. So we would say density of Q is low. Now using this high and low density, we will make any point as a part of cluster or not a part of cluster. So as you can see, there are three different type of objects. Now these three different type of objects are core points, border points and noise points. Now what do we mean by core point? Any point within which you draw a near neighborhood area with an epsilon radius and you also satisfy it with minimum points criteria. Okay, so here we are saying that minimum point criteria is, say for example, 5. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. 7 points are there. That's why this core point is actually a core point. Now let us consider another point as our core point, and if there is an epsilon drawn neighborhood area, then minimum point criteria will not be fulfilled. 1, 2 and 3 would be only there. Now this point itself is not a core point because it is not representing a high density area. But this point itself is a part of another dense region. That's why it is called as border point. And we have third kind of point which is called as a noise point. If we consider it as a center, draw a near neighborhood area with an epsilon and we draw a circle and this 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not satisfying our near minimum points of 5 or 6. So that's why this is point not a part of any dense region. So this is not satisfying our minimum point criteria as well as it is not a part of any other dense region, then it is called as noise point. So these are the three definitions. A point is a core point if it is has more than specified number of point or which is being given by min point with an epsilon. So these are nothing but interiors of a cluster. A border point which is having fewer than minimum point within its own epsilon, but it also is a part of another high density region, then it is a border point. In a simplest way, we can put noise point, which is neither a core point nor a border point is a noise point or an outlier. So here as you can see, our epsilon is 1 unit and minimum points are given by 5. So this particular point, if made a circle of unit 1, then there are no points of such as minimum 5. Okay, so this is an outlier. I can keep any of this point out of 5 and I can have a region around it. Okay, and I can make this cluster as one cluster and this cluster as another cluster. As you can see, both these clusters are of different sizes. So here we are given The process of DB scan is starts with molecule localization. We will find out the local cluster which are belonging to each other. So DB scan with minimum 3 points is given. So as you can see, if I take epsilon as 1, that means only one unit around it has to be find out and minimum points criteria is 3. Then using this particular center, I will have no neighborhoods. So it is a low density region as well as it doesn't follows or it is not a part of any high density region. So it is of course an outlier. Likewise, this is also an outlier and this is also an outlier. Irrespective of that, I can start with any random point and draw a particular criteria. So here we have high density region. There are three different points. So start with another high density region. Again we have 1, 2 and 3. Again high density region 1, 2 and 3. Again I will draw a circle with this center. Again 1, 2 and 3 are satisfied. 1, 2, 3 satisfied. This is 1, 2 satisfied. But as you can see, this point is a border point because it is a part of another high density region. Okay, so this point's area would be plain, but as you can see, it is being represented by this. Okay, so this point is low density point, but it is a part of another high density region. So this are nothing but boundary point or boundary molecule, and any point which is not a core point or a boundary point is of course a noise or an outlier. So basically our output will be the cluster 1, cluster 2, and we have separated out three different noise or an outlier. So DB scan algorithm is very simple. We are given some data points in our data set D. Input parameters are epsilon and minimum points that we would like to have in our region. And what will be the size of our near neighborhood boundary. So for each object P in a data set D, if P is a core object and which is not found out, not yet processed, we will find out all the objects which are densitably reachable or within the boundary of an object. And all those objects are processed and formed in a one cluster C. We see that C is one of the cluster. And we keep on repeating this step for each and every object which is not processed yet in a cluster. And if we continue and if we have processed all the objects, we say that we have C number of clusters in our system. Now, in what scenario DB scan is good to use and in what scenario DB scan is not good to use. So, if your points are distributed in an arbitrary shape, which is not even a spherical shape, then we must go with DB scan algorithm. As you can see, our original points are all marked with blue color, and DB scan algorithm will give you different clusters which are differently marked by different color. So first cluster is the brown one, second cluster is the blue one, third cluster is the yellow one, fourth cluster is green, fifth is red, and seventh is cyan color. Along with that, all those black dots which are scattered are nothing but our noise in our data. So DB scan will help us to identify the noise or an outlier in a given set of data samples. Point here to be noted is that DB scan is resistant to noise or an outlier and it can handle different arbitrary shapes of size of a cluster. But DB scan fails where we cannot have, as you can see in another image, the density of each cluster is different. First cluster of this oval shape, as you can see, the density is very sparse, whereas these are the more dense region. Okay, and they are spatially separated. So that's why I say this is one of the cluster, second cluster, third cluster, and one. And likewise, this density of this region is medium, neither too high nor too less. So in this kind of case, if they are very sensitive to the density, so if you have varying density data points and you wish to calculate or to find out the cluster, DB scan is not going to work. So that is the only drawback of this algorithm. So they are very much sensitive to its parameter. The two parameters that you say or you give input is nothing but minimum points and an epsilon value. So if we give minimum points as 4 and an epsilon value as 9.92, you will get first cluster is this one, second cluster is this one, and third cluster is this one. So in this case, our number of clusters will be 3. If I change slightly a value of an epsilon from 9.92 to 9.75, our output will be, this will be our first cluster, this will be our second cluster, these two will be our third cluster, and this will be our fourth cluster. So as you can see, not only the number of clusters have changed, but the shape and the sizes of the cluster, their sparsity also does change for the same set of data points. So it is always to be noted that drawbacks of DBSCAN is that it cannot handle data of varying density, and it is quite sensitive to its parameter such as minimum points and epsilon value. Thank you everyone for watching this video. This is Munira Topia signing out.